Ba da bing ba boo. La da da dee da do. Ba da da do da dee. Ba da da. Ba da 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 do. Alright, team. We've got some exciting news. I've got a bunch of new pigments, which is pretty exciting. And the only wild card is I don't have my speaker sorted yet, which is entirely on me. My bad. But we do have this lovely piece of work. We do have all day, and we'll see where it takes us. There we go. That's just about perfect. Right about there. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Give me just a second while I set this one up here, guys. Just making sure the second phone is good to go while we make these paints, which is pretty exciting. Kim, Zelo, two names I haven't seen before. Great to have you both here. Oh, and Tony. I am back. It's 2 p.m. here. 2 p.m. so we've got about 4 to 5 hours. But look, painting's wild, so we'll see where it takes us. Apologies if the sound is a little bit... it is what it is. And luckily there's no drilling today, which is a massive step in the right direction. Nick, thank you, Nick. Right, we're going to make the paint. Come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of girl. Alright. If you haven't done this before with me, we basically get these eggs and we crack them into these bowls. And we extract the egg yolks. And once we have the egg yolks, let me tilt you down. Here we go. Once we have the egg yolks, we mix it with a little bit of water, a little bit of pigment, and we make our own paint here, egg tempera style. So, I'm going to grab a little pair of scissors, which I had earlier, but I left out here. Come a little bit close to you, my kind of bag. So digging in the drop. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. Keep getting that song stuck in my head. Right, without further ado, let's just crack into it, team. Let's get da-da-ding-da-doo. It's New Zealand. Here we go. Alright, we crack the egg open. We get all the whites out. We do not want the whites. Just like that. We should probably grab... We'll grab one more container, but before we do, we'll grab this so you can get it sorted. Here we go. Mix it around through our hands. We want all the whites gone. We just want that lovely, lovely yolk. All the rest can go. You can use the whites. Oh, dropped it all together. You can use the whites, but I don't. We'll save those for a protein shake later. Here we go. Egg yolk. See how I'm holding it gently in the hand there. Scissors. Little cut. There we go. Lovely. We don't use the entirety of it though. I'll leave that last 20% out. That little part there. That can go into our protein shake, which you'll have to bear with me because we will make that as well, but we'll make it later, after the fact. After the fact. You've always wanted to be in Auckland? Go to Auckland. I feel that. Auckland's cool. We were at a bar last night. I was at a bar last night doing an art battle. So that's when you get 20 minutes to make a painting. There's an audience. Whoop. That egg popped. It's not so good. Which is alright. We want nice strong eggs. So when the membrane's stronger, the yolk's thicker, it's better for the job. That one must have been a wee bit thin. We'll try this one. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. There we go. That's more like it. Now we're talking. Nice, strong yolk. So anyway, art battle went well. I did 3 rounds. 3 rounds was plenty, and then I just had a few Soda waters and watched, socialized. It's all the fun stuff. Right, there we go. Another egg there. Lovely. Give me another one. Aha! Well, actually, sky's the limit, yes, but always use a medium that you know. And when I say know, understand the medium enough to know its archival properties. And I know sometimes we hate hearing that, but when it comes to painting, it's always important to know how long the work will last. If it's a picture you do on the beach, in the sand, fantastic. Have a work that lasts for 20 minutes or until the next high tide. It's poetic, it's beautiful. But if you want the work to last for generations, well, just gently get that out. There we go. Lovely. If you want the work to last for generations, 500 years, 2,000 years, then understand your medium. Now I know you'd be thinking, well, he's using egg, so it must only last for 2 days. But actually, egg tempera is one of the most oldest painting techniques out. The Egyptians used it, the ancient Greeks used it, and a lot of ancient works like The Last Supper and a couple of other really big ones are made with egg tempera. Just Google egg tempera painting, Tempera, into Google, and you'll see some amazingly famous works that you might think, wow, I recognize that one. And that's because this method, an egg, being natural, organic, they are the most pure, balanced form of painting medium. And so unlike oils that can yellow over 500 years, eggs practically last indefinitely, which is kind of cool because, well, work lasts indefinitely. Pigments, obviously, use the correct pigments, and surface prep, major thing. So a lot of the time if your surface prep isn't on point, that can be the thing that gets you. If it's on wood, the wood can rot if not prepared correctly. If it's on a, canvas can have the same situation. Rot, water can affect it, humidities, things like this. So try and make your work in a way that it will last forever, if you can. And egg tempura is certainly the medium for that. I haven't had a double yolk yet, but I've been hanging out for it. Jamie, day's going well. We've finished off with the art battle now, and we're making some egg tempura. We've got a whole bunch of new pigments that we haven't added to this work yet. Oh, that one cracked. That we haven't added to this work yet, and so that's going to be exciting. I went to the art store. These little tubes here, I'll show you them. They're this sized. This is only 14 mils of paint. 14 mils. Now, that 14 mils of paint cost me $28. $28? Anywhere between $15 and $45, depending on the tube. Some colours are more expensive than others. But not cheap for that. It's gouache paint. But I like gouache because it's a mixture of gum and water. So the pigmentation in it's really, really strong, which is all the more important when you're doing something like egg tempera to get that really, really powerful pigment to make sure the iridescent quality of the paint really stands out. Wow. I think the odds are changing on that. I think some eggs might be more likely to have it. But it would help me because that would make my painting supplies cheaper, being that the egg tempera requires eggs. So we're using a 12 pack here today, and this is Northland eggs from, well, the North Island of New Zealand. They're organic, free range, pasture raised, so they are outside under trees for shade, making eggs. They go to the local supermarket and end up with Sebastian Gower, who then uses them to make artwork. Oop. And tries not to lose them. Well, not just artwork. Come here, you slippery little one. There we go. Woo! That one there, he's slippery. Am I going to be able to get you? Hopefully. There we go. Got them. So this is what they look like, guys. This is all we're after. That little yolk there. Watch out for that. That little yolk there. That little thing there. The outside layer we don't want, but the inside layer we most certainly do. Prepare yourself. There we go. And not the entire thing, just about 70 to 80%. And the rest goes into our protein shake there. Perfect. If you'd like to see the Golden State Bridge painted, you are welcome to order a commission. Or send a picture of a picture you've taken. And maybe one day the inspiration will hit. But as for today, we are doing this lovely family shot. This beautiful family shot. With gouache paint, egg tempera, on a fantastic surface. Brilliantly fresh paint. We're literally making the paint on the spot to use, which is pretty wild. Last egg. Here we go. Voila. Hey, Pity by Nature. Love the name. The honesty in the name's very self-aware. I love it. There we go. Alright. Last egg. Here we are. Voila. Same story, in the hand, roll it over. Whoop. Drop the entire thing there. Roll it over. Cut the edge. Drain 70 to 80%. Keeping that sack in your hand. Then dropping that into there. And then we have our egg tempera. Ready to go. Yoki. Cheers, Marta. Appreciate you. Yoki. Alright. We're sorted there. There's our yolks. Eggs are sorted there. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be back in just a second. I'm going to dash away and do something pretty funny. Give me 2 minutes, then come back with more plates for the egg and turn this into a protein shake. Down a little bit closer, you my kind of man. Down a little bit closer, you my kind of man. Here we are, team. Some additional plates coming in here. I just chucked a scoop of protein in with those egg whites. You know, a bit of drink to have while we paint, which is pretty exciting. Let me bring you up big here again. There we go. Susan, how are we doing? And now we're going to do a little bit of a careful measurement. Yeah, a little bit closer, you my kind of man. We're going to do a little bit of splicing here. Move this into an easier container. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. And then, to make this stuff complete, we put in half water, half tempura, just like that. A little bit over there on that one. Perfect. Perfect. The water makes it run just a little bit nicer. Play ball for us. Whoop. Now that's sorted. We're going to add a little bit to each one of our baskets. There we go. Down the line. A little more to this one here. Lovely. And then that in reserve. Push those all back. Push this back a little bit. There we go. A little bit of this. Delicious. A little bit of a clean up. So we're making some wee bit of a mess there. Sorted. And last but not least, the final tool of the outing. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. There we go. This is weird but interesting. Yeah, you wait, we're about to start painting with it, which is going to be pretty exciting. There we go. And lift this up here. Out to here. Perfect. There we go, now I can see. Perfect. Is that all sorted? Yes, it is. G'day, guys. Alright, we're all sorted here. Lovely colours. We've got our reference picture just down here. We'll just take that off there. You gonna come off for me? Perfect. And then I'll just grab my tape, which is around the side here. And we are closing in on So this is different from regular tape. This is artist tape. We had the stronger tape to start with, but now we're getting further into the layers. I want some tape that will repeatedly stick to the artwork but not damage the paint. That's this paint. So we're all sorted there now. Now, next thing to do is to decide what the first colour of the ranks is going to be. And here is our lovely selection. Voila! How exciting is that? All the pigments we could possibly ever want. And let's kick in today with primary yellow, lemon, primary and permanent yellow, 3 shades of yellow, Naples yellow, always a favourite, and spectrum yellow. 5 shades of yellow to kick off with, raw sienna and rosé, maybe a little bit of rosé. There we go. Perfect. How do you add that shelf to the easel? Blooms, you buy an easel with a shelf on it, is the simple answer to that. There's a bunch of them out there. Depends on which art store you go to. Now, a little bit of yellow. Now this pigment dries incredibly fast, so the lid's back on if we can help it. And then we get our mix that we have brewed here. And pour it gently into here, just like that. And then, last but not least, the final piece of the equation. La-da-dee-da. I just realised I need to wash some brushes after art battle. Give me just a second, Dave. These need to clean. Alrighty tighty. You thought I was going to disappear forever? It's not true. All the brushes are clean. There we go. We are good to go. Get our little cloth here. Voila. Wipe a little bit of water off this brush. How was the art battle? Victoria was absolutely incredible, but it's not over yet because I've got so much footage to edit slowly, gradually. So as we go, who's pinning Victoria? Who knows? Well, Braxton, we're on the right track. We are on the right track. Got a weird little bit of hair off on the side there at the moment. There we go. I have a new fancy little carpet down, which is fantastic. There we go. All right. Okay, first colour up is going to be yellow. Ooh. All right, we are ready to go. Ish. Ah. I should have gone for a walk or a yellow. Oh, indeed. I'll give you a close-up of this shortly as well. This is what it looks like. That's the colour we're working to. Saturated, popping. And we're going to get this cascading over the surface. All the little bits and pieces. Here we go. So normally, I want to catch the light where it currently is, but I actually should. Usually, a good thing to do before a painting set, a walk or a run, something to warm up, something to get yourself, your blood pumping with excitement, ready to go. Because a painting's a sacred thing that you're going towards, the party you've been waiting for. If you treat art like that, you'll arrive bringing the fire. Bring the enthusiasm, bring the inspiration, motivation, whatever you like to call it. Whatever you like to call it. Hello. Down we come. A little bit through here. There we go. And so if you missed it before, this is the paint that we literally just made. This is our paint. We made it ourselves. And now we're using it to add the yellow hues to this artwork. And this paint will last for approximately 2.5 thousand years, which is pretty cool. We made, well, we did it together. A little shared moment between us. You were here, I was here. When there's a you and an I, we call that, in New Zealand anyway, a we. And so, we share a little moment. And in that little moment, we made a little paint, did a little dance. And now we're here, spreading a little love. Get down tonight. A little bit of warmth in this space. Splashing around here. Here we go. And on this cheek. Lovely. Cutting across. A bit more. A bit more. Okay. And then we're going to sneak up into here. Bloom Studio. It may surprise you to know, but when I come into the studio, it's usually just me. Because a strong, independent partner wouldn't want to just sit beside you the entire time. They'd have their own dreams and goals to pursue. That should be the mark of a good partner too, guys. If you're wondering what the best sign is in your significant other, it'd be, are they pursuing their own dreams? First tick. And how excited are they in you pursuing yours? If you can get 2 ticks in each one of those boxes, and a big tick is in the second box, That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Here we go. Let's splash some paint around here. So you can see this yellow already having an impact, building in some warmer tones into the picture. Good to see. We're just going to keep splashing it around, developing depth in this picture. Oh, thanks, MacBoy. Hope you're having a great day. And your Thursday or your Friday, depending on where you are in the world, has brought you everything you wanted. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. So strong. There we go. Beautiful. Put this around here. Next thing we'll do, I'm going to keep that yellow pure by adding a little bit of, I'm not going to splice it with more tanny colours, but I am going to give it a little bit of white. So it's going to make it a slightly lighter yellow, but still with that same level of zest to it. That's what I want. Let's mix that in here. There we go. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. So thick and so strong. There we go, that's the new colour we're on. There we go, so you can see that previous yellow down the sides of the glass. And then our new yellow, you'd almost say it's, if you avoid that, what's that there? One of the hairs coming out of my head. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We're going bald. Pastel yellow, creme brulee yellow, something lighter. Something lighter. I see we're talking about jeans. Well, guys, these are straight cut jeans. And on top of that, I think if you enjoy wearing jeans, or dress suits, or fat pants, or singlets, whatever you like to wear, I think as a collective we should celebrate that. If it's not hurting you, let the person do it. Here we go. Come a little bit closer. I need to get that song out of my head. There we go. Around here. Around here. Down here. Cheeks. Then across these tabletops. Nice. A little bit more down here in this lovely little lady's face. Spinning around here. There we go. MacBoy, welcome to the team. Unfortunately, this painting has an owner. It'll be on its way once it's finished to a lovely new place. I'm not exactly sure where in Texas, but it's going to Texas, which is pretty exciting. I do love me some Texas. Get a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. No. It's like some sort of flowery pattern. I don't normally wear patterns, I like a flat shirt, but this one was surprisingly comfy. It's that stretch fabric, and I like that because then I can move with way more freedom, which is good for me. Is good for me. Hey, yeah, welcome on in. There we go. No, so art battle was incredibly fun. And it's good to be back here now. Doing a bit of painting while I wait for the reels to be edited. When I say waiting for them to be edited, for me to edit them. Step by step, guys. It'll be done in about the next 2 or so days. I like to do it while I'm waiting for things to cook in the oven, or in the morning when not much else is going on. I just sit down and just slowly put it together. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I hope in time, Dino, you come to love the art, because art's something that can really bring something special to your life. There we go. Go a little bit more through there, down here and across. So now we're starting to get those highlights. Highlights coming in, down through here as well. Coming down low. Let the painting a little bit lower today. So as I duck down, normally I'd go down into a lunge, but we're just too deep. So we're gonna have to go onto our knees to get these last bits. Beautiful. Keep that consistency in those brush strokes. Cheers, JB. Good to have you on the team, mate. You're an absolute legend. Good to have you here. Well, that's good, Ali. That's a good way to be. I typically find it depends how I'm painting and what I'm painting. If I don't paint with vitality and a bounce in my step, I typically find the process wears me down. But if I let the process be something that's vitalizing and it adds a bit of a zing to my step. So what am I trying to say? The approach. How are you approaching it? Let's get this colour in a few more little spots. A bit more wild with the additions in here. Just let it cascade a bit more. Here we go. Is that abundant little spirit that I was looking for? Good, good. Hide this. I always wonder where this goes sometimes when you're painting. Some of those strokes on the left-hand side there had a bit more of a lethargic feel to them. And this freedom, just there, that was how I wanted to be applying them. Wild and free. Cindy. It was more of a fun one, Cindy. So when I say fun, I mean it was like winner stays on sort of thing. And I won the first 2 rounds, and then I think, then the third round I lost. So, which was good because I've been on the stage for just a little bit long, and my lovely, lovely person holding the camera has been an absolute sweetheart, but she wanted to go get some food, and I wanted to talk to a few people rather than painting. So we had a good time painting. I've got 3 amazing pictures to show you guys. They're all so uniquely different and completely off the cuff and wild. And all the people there were so nice and friendly. So there's a lot to talk about. We're going to slowly upload it. Upload it slowly. So yes, yellow highlights. It's going to look, guys, I don't want to trick you here. You're going to think, by the way the colour's landing, you'll think that looks like Naples yellow. It's not Naples yellow, not in the slightest. This colour going on is more of a zesty yellow. We're going to add some Naples, but I want the Naples to go over the top of this zesty colour. Because if I do that, the result I'll get is a more, dare I say it, a muted yellow, which overall will make it sink back a little bit and bring more attention to a few magentas and deep blues, which is exactly where I want to be. Deep blues, the Nara colour that's going into this to really pop. We haven't touched the deep blues yet, but we're going to. That's going to be fun. Cindy, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll just do a little swapsy here, guys. Give me just a second. I'm going to adjust you guys a little bit. There we go. Don't get motion sickness while I move you around. There we go. Lovely. Oh my god, you got a cute little view of my brush container. How cool is that? I hope you can't see my messy paint on the ground here. There we go. I'll just pick those up and put them back. Voila. Right. Brightest in the front. It should be bright. We're going for a bright effect here. Come a little bit closer, you my kind of man. And we will combine this as we go with probably a bit of salmon. There's salmon. Because I still want to play around with a few of those skin tones. There's this interesting balance here between the salmon on the skin tones and sort of more light oak colours in the background. And at the moment, we haven't really distinguished that much between the two. Although I'm not sure if we have to, as we keep adding colours and layers, if the two can't have a similarity. Being that would bring a lovely continuity between the background and foreground. But if I'm seeing that the background's getting a little bit distracting, then we'll do a little bit more of an adjustment. But currently, I don't have to. We can just keep going. The other one behind me is an experiment that I'm staring at intently. So the reason I've got that one out, I was going to paint it yesterday, but I'm building it up with really, really thick tempura egg. When I say thick, I'm going on for about 2 to 3 millimeter per layer, which is quite thick for the viscosity of this medium. But the reason I'm doing that is by adding the thick paint on there, it tells me in different areas of it how the tempura reacts on top of oils, how it reacts on top of acrylics, gesso, primer, and most importantly, itself. And so the goal here is to come away with a really, really good understanding of what you can and cannot do with egg tempura in the temporary. Now, of course, this won't tell us what we can do with it in the long term, but in the temporary, the effects we can create. And then once we know that, we can start to figure out what looks like in the long term it'll crack, what will survive the test of time, what tricks we now have in our toolbox to work with. That's the key. That's what we're doing. Thanks a lot, guys. This is going to be a fun picture. We want to capture love, we want to capture fun. That's what we're after. And we're doing a pretty good job of it so far. I'm sensing a lot of warmth in this picture so far, which is a lovely thing to start with. Here we go. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. Here we go. Man, it was fun last time we were here though, to start adding those blues onto the picture and the impact that had on the overall picture. And it's crazy to think that 48 hours ago, this surface we're working on had nothing on it. Had nothing. It was literally just a white gesso primed sand surface. And so everything we see here has been made on this little shared duty that we're having together. So we just scatter paint around and see if we can. What's a cheesy term for it? Pull a picture out of the ether. Could we do that? Maybe. Cane. Honestly, this is great inside at the moment because the paint itself has no more fumes, so we can work in the studio nice and quietly. But we do want to be outside. At the moment it's windy and slightly rainy, so that removes that opportunity. So if you've been outside with me before and the sound is just in pieces and we're running around trying to make things work, but typically we need that beautiful weather. But trust me, we're going to get it because we're on our way into bada bing bang boom summertime. And when summertime comes, oh, let's get a look at the back. Oh. No fumes. So since we're in the studio with no fumes, we're not too worried about making these commissions and working on them day after day. Whereas previously, if the commission was being done in oil paint, if it was being done in acrylics, I would panic slightly of how much I believed I could handle. And this comes back to that sacrifice for art thing I talk about, that actually we don't want to think that artists are hurting themselves with the mediums they're using. And so it's quite cool now to be on this medium, to know it's going to last into perpetuity, and to be able to create art safely inside the studio. It's a great message for kids as well. I feel like a lot of kids hear the stories of Van Goghs and other artists and start to believe that to make art will take great sacrifice and not great growth. I think if there's one message you could give the youth, the kids who make art, these two kids, whoever's watching, is that actually to make great art takes great growth. And so if you want to make great art, become a great person. Do good things for people. Help. Have pure intentions. And hopefully, if you do that right, that'll start coming through in the paintings. That'll be important. This painting here, yes, we started it yesterday, Susie. Started it yesterday, and we're still early days on it. Still very early days, but usually we dance around a few different works. We've done surfers here. We've done, what else have we done, team? Dogs, portraits, landscapes. We do a bit of everything. It's totally okay. At the end of the day, I try and keep a mix up every month, so that way we see some landscapes, see some portraits, see a bit of everything. Speaking of seeing, ran to a fan last night. It's happens every now and again when I'm out and about, and a lady, very, very sweet lady, came up to me and said, "Hey, I watch you on Instagram. I put you in the on the live in the kitchen while I cook. I don't understand a lot of what you're saying, but it's quite nice. Good cooking show." Which even more now is relevant, Marilyn, that's true, JB. More relevant now that we are using eggs. Talk about a cooking show. Made for it. Alright, a little bit more of this one. Empty that bowl off, perfect. And a little bit of this one. There we go. Beautiful. There's that egg glass there. We'll leave that one there. Now, to give us a little bit of a break from that colour, I've got exactly the colour I was demanding on the last session. If you remember me here yesterday, day before yesterday, I was saying I need X. And that X was ultramarine blue. Voila. Which we now have in our collection of colours. And we now have in our cup with our tempera. So, this is the colour that I was saying yesterday I so deeply needed. You ready? This one. See that? That belongs on his shirt right there. Through here and through here. It looks like he's wearing a deep dark shirt at the moment. We're going to fix that. Junior, it went so well. Really, really fun. Met some amazing people. Hopefully inspired a few people. Room full of good vibes. But the main thing was, every artist came out, gave it their best, had a good time, played around with colour. It was really cool. And there was no placings this time, guys. There wasn't a winner or a loser. It was just winner stays on, hammer out some paint. If you win 3 times in a row, then you have to resign. We almost got to 3 times in a row. I was on the 3rd time, and I got bumped at a close matchup, which was good. It's better to be defeated off the stage rather than actually resign, because no one can beat you. The guy who beat me looked really cool too. You know, lovely landscape, really impasto flowers and whatnot, which was cool because he was painting a sort of gardeny shot, and I was doing a gardeny shot as well. But I was doing a mushroom garden, and he was doing a flower garden on a hill. And honestly, I loved his impasto. It was really cool. Spoke to the crowd. Big fan. Nationality, Kane. This is Kiwi land. You are talking to a Kiwi, you're watching a Kiwi, and we are painting Americans, actually. Well, the family's in America. Whether they're Americans or not, I don't actually know. I'll ask for those details. It could be interesting to find out. But I assume they're an American family. After all, they're shipping this to America, which makes me assume that that would be the case. And so, as we add those darker areas, and stop being so dark and negative and brooding, and you'll start seeing more of a light-hearted depth. That's a good term for it, light-hearted depth. So typically we're used to quite intense depth. And what that'll mean is when you look at it, it just looks like it's this dark, brooding, black behind everything. But as we add more of this blue, the depth becomes more approachable, more fun, more intriguing. Thanks, Donna. I mean, it's good for New Zealand because that means that the times match up so well, Donna. You get to tag in easily. Not so good for London, where it's usually like the middle of the night. Unless you had like a club and you threw me up on the screen there or something. But typically, New Zealanders and then parts of America get the good time. If you go on early enough in New Zealand, the Americans get the late night, which is also kind of fun. Sometimes late night streams are what it's all about. Here we go. A little bit through here. Again, big chunks of blue scattering up over there. And then this finish. Ching. Bada bing ba boom. Oh yeah. That's what I want. Just like that. There's a little fella here. Beautiful. And then, and that's very exciting, Nate, but I'm a canvas painter. AC panels and canvas. Body paint's very different though. I suppose you could use egg tempera for it, but you couldn't use the gouache pigment. You've got to buy custom body paint. So that's stuff that comes from a special store. Special store, special purpose, not this stuff. I suppose you could do it with this stuff, but I don't know. You're going to feel very, very sticky after egg tempura goes all over you. I think I'd stick to proper paint. There's a great guy I now follow on Instagram who actually does egg painting. Not egg painting, body painting. And he tries to trick you, so he camouflages the person into different backgrounds. And I absolutely love it because when you first see it, you never quite know where the person actually is. And you're trying to figure it out. And then all of a sudden they move, or he takes the paint away, and you're like, oh, okay, yep, well done, there they are. Yes, M sees the depth. Alright, so I'm not just talking crazy. Well, I mean, I could be talking crazy. Me and M could both be crazy. But the blue should be adding depth. And friendly depth. Friendly depth. If you're battling away, wondering why you're trying to get depth in a work, or why a work that you like doesn't seem friendly, it's because maybe the depth's been created with browns and blacks, when actually if you want friendly depth, ultramarine blue is your friend. And if you're looking at a painting and wondering, why does the depth seem so friendly? Ultramarine blue, probably. Not definitely, probably. These things are, there's 1,000,001 reasons and 1,000,001 ways to achieve the same result. But it might be the case that ultramarine blue is the port of call that's causing these things to look great. Junior, I will share some of their work in my story next time I see it. That's the best way for me to remember. When I see one that really ticks the box, I'll do it. How's that sound? It's a good deal. I reckon it's a good deal. There we go, a little bit of darkness in here around the hand. Beautiful. Then we're going to go around this watch. Oh my god, the watch actually does have an ultramarine front on it. So we're actually using the perfect colour for the job. That's fun. And then But honestly, guys, depending on who you are and what style you like, it's actually, you'll have your own mediums and your own preferences and tastes. One thing I always love to watch is art that disappears. You know how I'm always talking about destroying artwork to focus on process, to redefine what you care about with your art by not worrying about the end result. Well, when we talk like that, one thing that I like to do is watch art like beach painting on sand that actually disappears straight after they've done it. Nothing else could be as totally and completely focused on process than something that ceases to exist after it's made. Look like completely dressed and everything. All right, they do. There's an unofficial live action Banksy exhibition. Well, that's exciting. Unaffiliated. Good for Banksy. He's fun. He or she's fun. We don't know it's a he. Do we know it's a he yet? Or is it still undisclosed who Banksy is? I think it's undisclosed. And so I see a lot of articles referring to him as a he. Honestly, if I was to guess, I reckon Banksy's female. If it's not already been revealed who Banksy is. But that's just my guess. It just strikes me as possibly. Sky, how you doing? And it's been. I'm going to slowly post the stories from it. So there's one video already up from round one. We started before everyone sort of came in. So the first rounds, there's a lot of room to move, which is really fun. But then the second round and the third round, you can see I'm trying to paint, but there's people everywhere around me. So I did, not going to lie here, guys, not a word of a lie. I got paint on a few people. That's what will happen. If you have one of my painting glasses, I'll get paint on you. And aside from getting paint on a few people, I definitely bumped into a few people too. The commentator was like, guys, I need you to watch out. Sid moves a whole lot and he swings his hips around like a madman. He get knocked over. Don't complain to us afterwards. You just be careful around that boy. But we made some great art. Swinging hips, fun art. Alright, here we go. A little bit of this through here. Lovely. We'll cut that in there. Just lightly. Lovely touches. Aquamarine blue. And the effects that they're going to have, the overall complexion of this picture. Beautiful. Lovely. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I still felt bad, Victoria, but the crowd was warned. Seb's a bit crazy with his hips. So, what else can you do, right? And because we had to be so much closer to the canvas, I was sort of like shimmering around. Like imagine dancing in a restaurant or a bar where you're sort of shoulder to shoulder and you can't really move at all and you're sort of just like doing an awkward little shuffle right beside them. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Except I was painting. Alright, let's get a little bit of this through here. There we go. Lovely. So this is where I go. Now we're going to come into these facial expressions again. The part that gets everyone nice and worried. There we go. Lovely. There's a lot of beard coming in here. Bear with me while I just splash a bit of this paint around here. Beautiful. Beautiful. There's a little flick going out that way. Oh, that's incorrect. Get that out of there. Perfect. And down with the blues. What's going to come up next is the big question. From the painting you can see he's a sympathizer. What's a sympathizer? Sympathizer. I do sympathise with a lot of people. Sympathise, love. So let's have a look. See you later, Ivan. Thanks for popping on in, mate. You're a champion. Let me see this painting. I like it festive and fun, very bright. I did just boot my mistake away. Because it's the viscosity of it's very light, there was a little bit down here that I didn't like, so I did just my thumb on it and got rid of it. Where is the wife in this frame? Well, this is the family. This is the whole family. We have two lovely gentlemen and two lovely children. And it's a photo absolutely abundant with love. And we're trying to capture that in every single colour we possibly can. The two kids leaning forward, smiling for the camera, excited. And the two gentlemen leaning in slightly with some fun, quirky things in the background, actually. We've got a couple of fish, which I'm not overly stating, but allowing them to be there. A beam, which we've flattened off. It did come off on the angle normally, but I've used it to sort of frame the whole piece. And then some tables and chairs in the back of a head that sort of insinuates restaurant. With a fork, a menu, and a bottle. So all the details are in here for you to grasp that it's a restaurant and to be framed and things like that. And yeah, restaurant, casual setting, love and abundant. John, this here is a wholesome, inclusive place. Not only do we love everyone, but we want to make a place where everyone feels welcome. I don't think you're bringing that kind of energy, so I'm going to give you some time to cool off, but next time you're welcome to join. Now, okay, next colour in, we're going to use ourselves some yellow ochre and raw amber. These colours are not, cheers JV, these colours are not the most exciting of colours. They're quite tannish, they're kind of like dry pale leather, but they're going to fit this restaurant vibe really nicely. Hey, how we doing? But I'm going to add just a little bit to just mute a few tones in between so the whole thing doesn't become an abundant, saturated burst of colour. We want that burst of colour, we want that saturation, but we don't want to do that, we need to make sure that we have those contrasting colours so everything has this balance and harmony to it. So, we're going to grab our lovely little this crystal glass. How funky is this? It's perfect for it. It's perfect for it. I'm going to start with the lighter of the two, which is going to be, they're almost an exact match, but yellow ochre is slightly lighter. And here we go. Well, the key to this painting, guys, every painting has a slight theme. So when we do a painting like the dog that we did, Cassie's Joy, it was focused around companionship and joy, because that's the two things the dog brought to the owner in abundance. So Greg felt this companionship and this joy constantly in Cassie, and that's what we were after. And then when you look at paintings like Mahalo, Mahalo wasn't about joy. It's not what you get from Mahalo. That's the surfing painting. The surfing painting, not the recent one, the previous one, the old school one. The surfing painting was about vitality and energy. So when I say energy, a zest and a zest for life and a vitality. So the wave is like a wave of life, capturing the Steve's moment in time in the past where he was a surfer doing big barrel waves as a metaphor for his life. The point of saying these two things is that every painting has its themes that you go into it with. When you lead with intention, you need to have an intention. So this painting here's intention when we start this as a family shot is to capture love and what's the word I want here? Togetherness. Togetherness? I think so. I think the reason, like the love comes from the abundant colours, with the energy that I managed to transpose onto the surface, with movement and with just general vitality. So that's where the love can come from. Those colour palettes, no colour left behind, everything included. And in that companionship, that togetherness comes, see that beam there? We flatten that off instead of it being on the angle. So that balancing there creates that form of composition. And the fact that we have 4, now if we had 5, we'd need to get quite clever. But we have 4, which means the compositional balance behind it, a square is a really solid shape. So when you talk about a family and talk about consolidating family and providing strength in a rock, a square is a great metaphor for it. A triangle, also a great metaphor. Circle, great metaphor. These are fundamental shapes with a lot of power to them. Now, if it was a parallelogram, that would be a harder one to speak with the same metaphor. But we have a square. And so if you look at this compositional element here, boom, 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 there's a lot of solidifying comfort in that square shape. And then with the children, this is just in the perspective of the shot. So now we're talking about craft elements rather than actual craft elements instead of expression and expression elements of artistic stuff. We're talking about craft specifically, woodwork, we're talking about jewellery. Craft-wise, we've developed these two people to be leaning forward. So the two kids are excited. So these two kids are, as the photo's taken, aren't like a screaming child upset or anything like this, which if you've taken pictures of families, it can be tough to get the right shot. They're leaning forward to the camera. They're not only loving this whole family vibe that they've got, they're also loving that the photo's been taken and they're excited for it. And so we want to capture that energy inside the canvas. So. And then one subtle detail, I talked about this earlier, but I love it. So, I mean, we talk about the little restaurant pieces of iconography. Yes, love that. But actually, I love how this gentleman here is sort of like a rock. So if you look at his spine in the photo, or in the picture here, he should be straight up and down. I don't want you to feel like he's leaning. His neck is bang center. Okay, so he's got reasonably good posture and he's standing straight. His spine's straight. But he reaches out with his arms. See how this comes across here? This man's arms are both down. His one comes across. Now what we've done with this man here, to show his love, he leans slightly. His spine comes on about a 5% angle over to the right. Just like that. That 5% angle of a lean and that neck angle we've got going on means that they both have their own little subtle, really subtle lines of engagement with each other that show that companionship that they both have. So, even inside this photo, I mean, it looks like, I need to know the restaurant. I really need to know the restaurant. Why are there wooden fish hanging? Why is there sort of a tiki theme with warm lighting, with a wooden ceiling, with wooden tables? They've got a noodle box sort of takeaway and a green bottle and a... It's hard to know about this restaurant. I want to know what it is, but it's a candid shot. It's a candid shot of a family. So that's what we're capturing. So, like I was saying, yellow ochre. That's what we're on here. That's what we're on. A little bit of that there, and then we get the paintbrush here. Voila. Okay. And one other wild card too, guys. Very basic one. There's a couple of underlying fundamentals. In this picture here, we have a lot of colour. By the end of it, about 40 pigments. Now, the reason we want about 40 pigments in it is because that shows depth. Depth. Simple depth of the metaphor of a lot of colours, a lot of complexity. complexity is probably a better word, but I say depth because more things, it's a bigger deal. Through all those colours, we can see the depth of the relationship, of the family, of love, and everything that stands for. So, colour, the amount you use, the amount of hues, colours and tones, you build complexity into it. And if you've ever been part of a family, if you've felt the love of a family, if you've had parents, a loved one, children, you'll know that families are complex. There's a lot to them. And so to try and represent that, we're using a lot of colours. A lot of colours. Alright. Let's have a little look-see here. And a little bit. We'll go through here. Beautiful. This is exactly what we're after. This is an absolutely lovely colour. Now, one thing I'm going to do, it's going to be a little bit annoying for you guys, but I'm going to put it on super quietly, is if you hadn't noticed, the sun is streaming in here now. It's still windy outside, but the sun's streaming in. And I am starting to sweat. So, we're going to turn on the aircon, but very quietly, I'm just going to set it to a cool setting, turn it right down, and chuck it on maybe a fan speed of 1. And so it just slowly changes the room temperature. I don't think you'll even hear it. With a bit of luck, it'll just be silently there, but it'll make all the difference for me. My lord. Let me just shut these up too, so I can keep my cold air in the studio. Beautiful. I'm loving this painting from a distance. This is fun. Alright, down here. Down through here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And a little bit here on this bottle, but not a whole lot, just enough to acknowledge it. There we go. Wonderful. Are you famous in the street? Honestly, sometimes I get recognised, but it's intermittent. So if I go somewhere to a large gathering, a couple of people might notice me, but honestly, it happens intermittently. That's the best way to put it. I was in a post shop the other day sending something, and everyone was giving me funny looks, and I was like, oh, something's wrong with my hair. I was wearing a cheese cutter, that's right. I was wearing a cheese cutter, and I was thinking to myself, I knew I looked stupid, I should have left this at home. Everyone thinks I look silly, and they're smiling at me now. But they recognise me, they're like, you're that guy, we watched you here in the post office. So they actually really liked the stream. So, long story short, I didn't look silly I probably looked silly in my cheese cutter, but it wasn't what they were laughing about. That was, it's so funny that's where my insecurities went to the moment I saw people looking at me and smiling. I'm like, I hate my cheese cutter. This was a terrible decision. And, yeah, anyway. 2 messages there. First off, really cool group in the post office who have me playing in the background while they go about their business. And second message, don't just leap to conclusions and be insecure. No one was laughing at your cheese cutter, whether you looked silly or not. Oh dear. Yeah, probably. Honestly, I lost the cheese cutter. Where did I lose it? I can't remember, but it's gone now. But I get told that I look like a little bit of an old man when I wear it, which sometimes if I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, maybe I'll put one on. But usually, I like I've got a new hat actually. I'm going to send you guys a photo. I got a couple of things actually, speaking of. Okay, I've got a new hat, I'll show you that. It's from Art Battle. They gave it to me as a spot prize. Pretty cool. And then the other thing that's pretty fun is, we just made a 10,000 likes team. You bunch of champions. That is phenomenal. Hands are a nightmare to paint only if you see hands. If you ignore the hand, then it's just another thing. And we always get so hung up on thinking it has to be a hand before you've even seen it. See, this is a hand, and this is a hand, and so is all of this. But every one of these angles I'm showing you a hand on is a wildly different shape with different tones and different moments in it. If you actually want to capture my hand, then when you look at the hand, we'll come forward for this so it makes more sense. When I hold it there, there's a couple of little shadows. And actually, fundamentally making up this hand is like a big pinnacle line coming out here, a tiny little shade across the top, and then this sort of V shape of darkness with a flick out this way, a little bit of blue in here. But if you think it's a hand, it needs to have 5 fingers and a thumb, this is not going to help you, because actually you can only see 2 fingers and a thumb. And the thumb, honestly, the weird thing about this hand shot here is if you were to paint this with just tones in black and white, this part of the thumb is going to be missing. Because if you see that, that actually matches the tone in the background. So the hand's actually made up of this big white shape, a little lump here, and then a floating white lump. But what you're going to do when you paint this hand is you're going to make this thumb connected. You're going to make this little weird patch the same color as all this, thinking it's going to make more sense. And you're going to ruin the hand. It's not going to make any sense. So paint exactly what you see, not what you think you see. There's a big difference. And when you talk about capturing likeness of people or a place or a memory, you have to paint exactly what you see. The shapes, the forms, the colors, and the tones. Because the moment you get distracted and think, oh, this is what I actually see, this is what it should be, I demand these lines in the structure, I mean, you're basically painting symbolism, or you're painting your own little reality in your head. And that's cool sometimes. Those effects can be cool, but it's not the reality. Always paint the reality. You'll surprise yourself, and it's more fun as a painter. It's no fun to get an idea in your head. I know people say, I had this idea in my head and I brought it into the world. That's cool, and sometimes it's really cool. But sometimes it's really special to actually see a picture and go, I wonder if I can get over my own ego and my own, here's the word, I wonder if I can get over my own ego and focus solely on what that is and not the way I see it, or what I think it has to be. Can I actually let it be it instead of me telling it what it needs to be? Can I look at this picture I see here and just focus only on what's actually there and let myself be a conduit to bring that into the world? Can you do that? And if you can, what a fascinating journey to go on. Can I draw 3D? Can I draw 3D? I mean, sometimes. You mean like shade, perfect shapes? Yeah. I find it absolutely godsmack boring. Shouldn't say that. I find it absolutely boring, guys. I can't stand to slowly shade things. I like it with charcoal because it's slightly faster, but it is boring. Paint 3D. I mean, a lot of this painting style you see here, we're typically adding the paint on suddenly and letting it dry immediately. So we're not doing a whole lot of mixing on the canvas. But if you add on a whole bunch of raw colours, one after the next, sometimes you do get a 3D effect. But typically, if you want perfect gradients, perfect 3D, you're probably best to talk to AI. Because AI is doing some smooth, high-class textures these days. There we go. They look like your house? That's pretty cool. Here we go. Let's slash a bit of paint around here. Just down through here. Nice. Across this nose. Lovely. Lovely. And we're just slowly shaking up in here, guys. So what we're adding in here are little dabs of detail that start to allow these faces to form. but not too much. Just enough. Shine and detail, baby. There we are. Where's my mum? My mum lives in the Bay of Plenty. She's a lovely lady who supports me in my craft and doesn't care if one day I become a really famous artist or not, as long as I'm having fun. And so probably a lot of that rubs off on my philosophy to paint in general, which is pretty wholesome, if you ask me. I think it's really, really important if you've got loved ones who are trying to pursue a creative venture, make sure that it doesn't matter, win, lose or draw. Creativity, provided they're finding a form of self-expression and are loving who they're being, then actually all they need is your support in terms of you like who they are becoming. And honestly, art will take you in some wacky directions. You may not be able to pay your way with art, but art will teach you how to love, how to care. It's a magical place to go. Painting's fun. Thanks, Hayden. Appreciate you, mate. I'm a bit of a fan. We got a lot of pigments going in here, and we're a long way from done, but I'm liking where it's heading. This little tech has got some attitude. I really like that. There we go. Lovely. Together in one face. Wild. Okay, let's get a bit more up here. Alright. Well, that's alright, Donna. And the reason that's alright is because Monet and Picasso did not. Two greatest painters of all time. Monet had a different job that he did. So did Picasso. Sorry, not Picasso. So did Van Gogh. Picasso was a full-time painter. But Picasso and Monet made money to make art. I'm getting confused here. Picasso was a professional artist only, but Monet and Van Gogh made money to make art. Van Gogh actually worked as an art dealer, selling other people's art because no one wanted his art. Except now we all look at Van Gogh and say, well, he's the best of all time. Well, look back to when he was painting. At the time, no one wanted it. And does that mean he shouldn't have made it? No, he should definitely have made his art. I think we all agree the world's a better place because Van Gogh painted. But you must also then accept the fact that when it comes to Van Gogh, that it's not about selling the art, making money off the art. It's about making the art with the right intentions. Pure intentions, that you actually love what you're creating, that you enjoy it and care for it. That it's somewhat sacred. I keep coming back to that word, guys, but I mean it, that it's somewhat sacred. That the art you make is something that you care about deeply. A lot of artists, and this is what I say to a lot of artists when I talk to them, when they ask me for advice of what to do in their studios or what to paint or how to paint or any little tips, treat your craft as though it's sacred. We show up to our studios wearing fat pants and singlets, and we can drink, or we can just not take our craft with a set. Well, I don't mean take it seriously. Play, always play. But are you treating it like it's sacred? Like it's something that you care about deeply? Like it's something that you couldn't live without? Dress like you care about it. approach it like you care about it. And then the result will inevitably be something that you care about. Something with a little bit of spark, a bit of flame behind it, a bit of love. That's what we want. Thanks, Ian. I missed that, Susan. Huh. Oh, that's good, Hayden. I appreciate that. Oh no. Oh well, I hope you get it back, Susan. I know a few friends who have been in a similar boat. It can be scary. I will say though that it took a few months that they got their profiles back, which was pretty cool. There we go. Honestly, you got to the point where they gave up, and then a while later they got a notification that said, hey, you're ready to take your profile back. Here's some steps to follow. And they click the notification and then continue down the steps. It's that simple. But I think it's always different for each person. The little route you go on to keep your profile back. There we go. Lovely. Down in here. And down through here. Nice. Beautiful. You see this next pigment taking control through here, having a huge impact on warming up the flesh. Getting that skin tone really popping. You can see with this hand here, see how we haven't painted fingers and thumbs and things, but sort of you do get this feeling of a hand. That's really important. Because we're not focusing on painting a hand, we're focusing on capturing the light, shadow and tones that make a hand. There's a big difference. There we go. Beautiful. Well, Susan, that's a conversation for you to take up with Meta and Instagram. I can't answer from here. But I have had videos in the past that have been pulled down. AI notices it and says, nah, no good. Like the painting we did of Hercules. But then I say, hey, check that one again. And they do, they check it and go, oh yeah, you're all good. We thought there was a nude man on your stream. Turns out it's just Hercules. Which means that we had a lot of accuracy when we painted Hercules, enough for an AI robot to be like, nah, no good. And JB, good to have you back in here, mate, and we will see you next time. Absolute champion for joining for so long, really appreciate it. As always, you know that. Get some sleep, we'll be back tomorrow, you know that. And hopefully, if there's no wind, we'll do it outside, with the only struggle being that I've lost my sound piece, which is entirely on me, but hopefully we track that down, and then we'll jump back on, go outside and see the sun. JB, before you go, one last comment. I watched Kung Fu Panda the other night. Couldn't help myself, really enjoyed it. I just can't get enough of that movie. It's got the greatest moral of all time. The very fact that the moral behind the story is you just have to believe. I just love it. But it's done in not such a cheesy way. It's done in a way that actually Po could beat. Like, it wasn't just a matter of, oh, he believes now he can beat Tai Lung. It was a matter of Po realizing he could do it. And then he did it because he was able to do it all along. He just needed to know that he could. And so the point there is believing makes anything possible. No, not the case. The point of that movie was to show that actually he had the ability to do it. Every card he needed, he had. He was ready to do he was ready to beat the big opposing boss, the big battle at the end. He had all the training, all the ability, and all the body, and the history, and the experience. Everything he needed, he had. The only thing he didn't have was the confidence. And so that movie shows you that actually you might have all the building blocks you need. You may have them all, and the only thing stopping you is just pulling the trigger on it and getting started. So that's I love that moral. I love that moral. How many things, like, how many times you listen to someone who became a professional racing car driver, or a professional artist, or all these things that people become like, the hardest thing was getting over the imposter syndrome and then believing that the whole thing would actually be possible. And it still seems surreal to me now. That's true, it's still a thing. Believe that it's possible. Man, your mind can hold you back. Can stop you from being who you want to be. And you've got enough challenges waiting out there without giving yourself your own challenges of doubting yourself. Don't worry about doubting yourself. There's enough people out there in the world that will doubt you without you having to worry about it. You need to worry about believing in yourself. Like, put that on a t-shirt. There is enough people out there in this world who can spend their time doubting you. And trust me, you won't go through life without doubts. They'll tell you what they think. They're very vocal. But for yourself, you need to believe that you deserve your own happiness. Whatever walk in life that takes you in. But so many of us are willing to go through 80 years of life and lay on our deathbeds and then listen to old people on their deathbed saying, I regret not living the life I wanted to live and just doing what others wanted. And yet we'll sit here right now and hear that from every single person on their deathbed and think to ourselves, I think I'll just play it easy and not be myself. We'll figure it out in my 30s, my 40s, in my 50s, in my 60s. It's too late now, I'll just die. It's ridiculous. Realize that you deserve your own happiness and go after it. Oh, that's very nice of you. Not active, you are on a fantastic little journey, and I wish you the best on it. Head off into someone else's stream and go tell them they're great. You can leave with my blessing, mate. That's absolutely fantastic. Low-key? Of course I am. Of course. Dun, 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 dun. Check a bit of this through here. There we go. Little flakes of colour. And then coming across this bench here with a few little lines. Here we go. Beautiful. Here we go. Chad's in here. He's got a comment. I'm going to read it straight after putting this on. This is very exciting. I live for these, Chad. You keep me going. Can't wait to read this pun. It's going to change my life. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to cry. It's going to alter me in so many special ways that I just cannot wait. Alright, let me just step back and have a little bit of a look-see at this. Yeah. Oh, guys, it's going so incredibly well. That's making me happy. Pet Beagle likes to hang on my piano. His batch is worse than his bite. I don't get it. They're getting too creative for me, Chad. I'm missing the mark on them now. Bash? Bash. Bash? Bass. Bass. Chad's like, Seb, can you just be more travelled and more worldly? Oh my god, it's such a good joke. Why don't you get it? Thanks, mate. Back. Back? Back. Oh, the composer. Sid was late to the party again. Here we go. Let's get right up here. Down with a few little bits. It wasn't one that you win or lose. It was just one of those ones that we just battle and have some fun. Actually, met some lovely people and was talking to the owner of the spot about the possibility of doing some wine and paint nights, which would be pretty fun. Which what we'll do is we'll actually stream them live as well. So what we'll do is it'll be a ticketed event because some people will have champagne and things like that. But it'll be really fun because I'll put out the art supplies list beforehand so you can get your hands on it. So you can get your hands on it. With the reasoning behind it is if you want to join in, Vic, Jay Smith, whoever, if you guys want to come along and paint along with me, just have some fun with the rest of the crowd and things, then I'll let you know via, I'm not sure where we get the materials from. We'll just go for the simplest out. We might even use eggs. That'd be pretty crack up. Yes, we're going to paint with eggs. Yes, we are. Oh my god, this is going to be fantastic. Of course we are. But anyway, we'll go through the process of figuring out what we need, and then have a little bit of a wine and paint night. Do some dancing, do some painting, make some art. If you're on the other side of the world, you'll be able to join via the stream. If you're in person, you'll be able to join in person. We'll have some fun. I'm excited, as you can tell. I think it's sort of fun to be doing the live streams, hanging out with you guys. If you are in Auckland, it's an opportunity to actually do a meet and greet, be in the same room, make some art together, and if you are an artist, kind of just to bounce off energy and ideas, see where it takes us in a pretty fun way. And if you're not into that, that's all good. Weird that you don't like champagne and hanging out, but hey, you do you, I totally get it. But no, it'll be a really fun evening if we can get it off the ground. At the moment, I want to tick through a few of these commissions first. Once we get on top of these, we'll turn down a few. So if you've got an application in at the moment, you might be on hold for longer than you realise. I'm going to get through the current list of commissions, and then we're going to go on to a bit of a building phase, building out the idea of a wine and paint night. Because I think that can be kind of fun. I'm seeing with these art battles that actually there's this amazing impact we can have when there's more people in the room, when we're all together, when we're all actually bouncing off each other's energy. There's the opportunity to actually really bring about amazing positive change to everyone's level of vitality and joy. Now, I'm pretty excited to expand that, to see where that can take us. So, if they're really popular, maybe you just need to start flying across New Zealand for them. They'd be like, what are you doing next weekend? I'm flying out to New Zealand to a 5-day wine and paint retreat. Don't call me on Monday. I'm going to be extremely exhausted. Alright. Here we go. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, that one there's done. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I reckon, Susan. I reckon. Okie dokie. How are we looking at the moment? Let's bring this one here across. That one to there. Beautiful. How are we looking there? Yeah. So at this stage of the game, guys, definition will be abundant. You're going to see a lot of what we actually want in the picture. You're going to see the characters. You're going to see the kids. You won't perfectly see eyebrows, mouths, faces just yet. We'll still work on the last few details. The best way to put it is look at this watch and this bottle here as you start to see the details in those come out, so too you'll see faces match those details. So we don't overdo the details of the face, we bring out the whole picture equally. And that's why you see the background slowly taking shape as well, at the same rate of the faces. Then we don't do background, foreground, faces. We do everything in unison, and we pull it out. So that's how you get that effect where every single corner seems to matter. Good. Good, 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 good. Now, perfect. We're going to move on to the next little bit. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? What's the next colour going to be? That's right. Deep tan, burnt amber, or burnt sienna? Someone tell me. Pink. I see you're in here now. Good to have you, Pink. Always trust the process. Well, at least the process is untrustworthy. Trust the process if binding if it has if it's loving, and if it's constructive, and if it's fulfilling. If it's those three things, if your process is loving, constructive, and fulfilling, then yeah, that's something I'd trust. But not all processes deserve your trust. Some processes will let you down. Now let's just have a look-see here. Can I get a vote or a decision? Someone tell me. We're going to use both these colours, but which one's coming first is up to you guys. Burnt sienna and burnt amber are very similar colours. Burnt amber is more grey, and burnt sienna is more chocolatey. But they're both brown. Someone choose one. First person to choose gets to choose. We will use both. Which one's coming first? Someone give me a comment. Burnt sienna, burnt amber. Burnt sienna, burnt amber. Grey brown, chocolatey brown. Grey brown, chocolatey brown. Sienna. All right, Cindy. Good plan. Where your head's at. But I need a new cup, so bear with me. And thank you for putting up with that little fuzz in the background. The room's now chilly, and I'm so happy for it. All right, back in the second team. Now, the other fun thing is we've got an absolute ton of tempera. We've gone through about 25% of it, so we've used about 3 eggs. So since we started painting to now, we've used up 3 eggs worth of tempera. So that gives you a sort of a rough estimate to how much tempera goes into these paintings and how many eggs we go through. It's not actually a whole lot, is it? It's pretty light, which I like. Yeah, you were, yeah. Honestly, I thought Jay Smith was going to be in there with the first comment. Or Vic. But it was good to see Cindy. Cindy's like, oh God, just get on with the painting already. Any colour is fine. Come on. No, she wouldn't be like that. Maybe. There we go. Let's get a little bit of that across that cheek there. This one here's a little bit. There we go. Yeah, we need a few more of these blue tones in the shirt. And yes, it does. So I keep a few pieces close to my heart. Few pieces that I don't share out into the world. Well, that's not true. I share them, but I don't put them in a gallery or something like that. Typically with the originals, I've been talking to a gallery actually, with the possibility of putting a piece of artwork up in there, so people in Auckland can see it, but I usually like to keep a few of them just in my house, just for me, and that's pretty fun. There we go. Don't you drip on me. There we go. Hello. Alright, let's get a little in. I don't know if they are Levi's. Are they Levi's? Jeans West, I think. They're from an op shop. I thought, oh, they're my size, I'll buy those. Apparently, blue denim is the colour of democracy, according to some art critic from 1930. Let me step back for a moment, have a little look-see here. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. We've got a lot of that warm tone coming into it, which is fun. But I'm going to add just a little bit more. And this is the burnt amber we talked about. Drop some of that down here. Let's mix this in. There we go. It's going to darken it all down. Beautiful. Beautiful. Where are we going to put it is the question. Once we get it all lovely and mixed. There we go. G'day guys, how we doing? How are we doing? Down through here, getting these slightly deeper browns into place. And hello from Brazil. Welcome on in. There we go. Yeah. It's just because I get the light on the different angle when I come up high like this. Egg tempera is very, very reflective. And so depending on the time of day where you paint, depends on the way the sun hits it. So getting that higher angle allows you to really get the paint where you want it to be. Where you want it to be. Before I come back there. Want it to be. Before I come home. Da 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 da. La da 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 da. Da da da. Alright. Old Donna's in the call out. Anyone else an artist here? Who else does art here? There we go. It's a little bit around here. Just gently cascading around this work. Beautiful. Beautiful. And down in here. Nice. This has a real pop to it, so it's going to come onto a lot of these wood tables. Quite a lovely impact. Beautiful. here just a little bit. Beautiful. Yeah, we're getting that layering sorted now. We're getting that layering sorted now. Yeah, it's a long way, I know. And the going ain't easy. There we go. Beautiful here on this girl. I'm going to capture that. The lovely expressions that make her who she is in. Well, I hope you do go back to it. It's funny, it's the sort of thing that as we grow older, we leave it behind. It's like play is one of the most essential things. Creativity, finding new ideas, being yourself, play. And as we get old, we forget how to play. Everything has to have a purpose, everything has to have a reason, a conclusion. It's kind of silly. You forget how to play, you forget, well, everything that ever mattered. Usually when I forget or stop playing, my artwork takes the biggest blow. The biggest. It all just falls to pieces. Because play is exactly how you make a work of art. That loose craziness in the brush strokes keeps it from turning into this craft and keeps it as an art form. And that's so important. The moment you let art just become a monotonous cruise through brush strokes, applied without love, without care, with the intention of looking just like every other piece you've ever made, at that point you just stop. Look back at what you're doing, figure out how to find that vitality, that love that you started this process with. Somewhere there, it's waiting for you. So just track it down. There we go. Beautiful. You can glue broken. Well, art's expression. So if it expresses you, then yes, you definitely can. But I think you need to look at it honestly and ask yourself, does this express me? And if so, I'd like to understand that a bit deeper. Why do I believe that this expresses who I am? Why am I as simple as glass glued onto a canvas? Or are you deeper than that? And maybe that's just a defense mechanism to not go deep. Who knows? That's true, Em. They may have dried out. So if they have, that's perfect. That means you can't judge yourself if you don't like what gets made. You can just play and be like, the acrylics were dry. I wasn't able to do a perfect painting. I was only able to have fun. God forbid. Imagine if you could break out your acrylics, but because they were too dry, all you were allowed to do was have fun. Sigh. Oh well. Guess I'll have fun then. There we go. Perfect. A little bit more. Up through here. Alright team, I'm going to pause there. I need to grab myself a coffee, check my emails, and get started with the rest of my day, wherever that might take me. If after the coffee, if the email box isn't too busy or things can wait, I'll probably leap on Instagram and do a brief live there, and then clean up and go from there. But apart from that, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you all. We've done some great work here adding warm tones into this painting. So when we started, this top here was a bit less blue. It still needs a lot more shades of blue. The egg tempera is quite transparent, and so to actually get things to change, especially from a black colour, layers, 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 layers to slowly pull out a kaleidoscope of change. That's the plan. Instagram. Good luck with that, Susan. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you. And Johnny is where we're about to hit the track. Alright, guys, look after yourselves. Sending love from the New Zealand studio to wherever you are in the world. All the best. Bye for now. Ba-da-bing-bum-boom.